Good afternoon, everybody, and ho, 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 Merry Christmas, Yankee fans, as the Yankees get their presents early here this week in December 7th, Thursday evening. We're recording as the Yankees make two trades a rare trade with the Red Sox to get Alex Verdugo, and a trade with the San Diego Padres to get Juan Soto. So the Yankees give up in the Verdugo trade three right-handed pitchers, including Greg Weissert, who had some major league action and has a nice strong arm. And the Red Sox really in the need for pitching. So I understand the move there on their part. They weren't going to want to pay for Dugo. And then the San Diego Padres. Um, get a mishmash of players from us, including, probably the biggest name, right-handed pitcher Michael King, who was the long man and has a real live arm and has that electric start at the end of the season. Of course, didn't meet anything in the standings. There was no pressure, but still, someone who is major league primed and ready. They also get Drew Thorpe, Johnny Burrito, who started several games for the Yankees. Um, Lots of pitching going out the door for the Yankees. And right-handed pitcher Randy Vasquez, who also had a few spot opportunities this year or this year past in 2023. So some major league players, and then Kyle Higashioka, fan favorite, certainly a solid major league catcher who occasionally would come up with a clutch hit. Certainly has the clutch gene, if you will. So the Yankees giving up a lot, as you would expect, to get two players of this caliber in Verdugo and Soto. Today we asked on the X, the Twitter, um, now that the Yankees have gotten these players, finish this sentence. Uh, Now that they've acquired Soto and Verdugo, what about? And we'll break down the four possible answers as a form of structure here. So, what about, and I just touched on it, what about the starting pitching? What are the Yankees going to do for pitching and pitching depth? They continue to get hit with the pitching bug and the injury bug, especially in the starting staff. Garrett Cole won the most ho hum, who cares, Cy Young award in the history of Cy Youngs, probably this season, and that was great. He certainly is the ace of the staff, and we have some solid options, obviously, with Nestor Cortez and the like. But right now, as it stands, that starting pitching, especially, um, need some reinforcements. I know the Yankees are in on the Japanese free agent whose name I will butcher, so I will not try to pronounce it until I have to learn it for sure, if that's for sure. They're certainly in the last team or two in the negotiations with him, spending a ton of money just to talk to him, and we'll see. If he does come over for the Yankees, will that pay off? But I'd like to see them. I understand I'm giving up talent for these guys, but starting pitching um, is a concern going forward. The next possible answer in our poll is, what about Jason Dominguez? We've heard about this kid for 3 or 4 years since they drafted him. He's made a beeline through the minor leagues. He has a great nickname, the Martian, because he's out of this world. And we saw him come up last year and just electrify New York for a few weeks. And he's an outfielder by trade, with a big bat, kind of an unproven Soto, if you will. An average outfielder, but an outstanding offensive potential. The Yankees put a lot of time and money into him. And I know, his injury is going to keep him out a while, but still, what about this guy? What are they going to do with him? Will he be a trade piece now? Are the Yankees purely in save Brian Cashman's job mode, where he, has a mandate to win? Remember, they signed Cashman to a 3-year contract, and so he's already blown one of them. So he's got to win, and he has to win now. So is it going to be fantasy baseball going forward and just trading away, making a deal with the devil, trading all the young and upcoming talent away, or burying them in favor of a named major league starter. So Dominguez is one of those kids that it was a great story so far, and really sucked that he got hurt so badly. But still, what are they going to do with him, and what's his future? With the Yankees, and then the next question, possible answer in the what about is what about Oswaldo Pereira, another person that the Yankees had a lot of time and money into, and what they did um, to to get him to major leagues, and he also someone who flew through the minor leagues and shows a lot of pop and a lot of potential, can play a lot of positions. When you look at the Yankee outfield now, um, there's not a lot of flexibility, and when you look at the bench, whoever's going to be the fourth outfielder um, could be very interesting, um, because a lot of the starters are going to need rest, and they're going to, how the Yankees do with the analytics department and rest. No matter what the player's doing on the field, or who the team's playing, or how important the game is, if it's their rest day, it's their rest day, and you need to pop somebody in there of quality. And right now, him and Oswaldo Cabrera, two young kids that show a lot of potential. Cabrera maybe not as much as Pereira, um, with his flexibility. But what about these young guys that don't have the name yet, but certainly have the potential to be excellent players? And then the last option is what about Aaron Judge? And I ask that question because are we going to really put a 285-pound, injury prone stud, admittedly, in center field for 140 games? And yes, he was healthy last year, and that's great until he wasn't healthy last year. Um, and the wear and tear center field, aside from catcher, has to be the toughest position as far as all the running. Um, and there's a lot of diving and wall climbing and that kind of stuff. Shortstop certainly will give it its run for its money too. But center field, for the big man, you'll have Judge in center, Soto in right, and Verdugo in left. Soto really cannot play another position. Can't DH him because you're locked into Stanton at DH. Um, you know, is this trade? Are these trades for these players going to hurt Judge's time on the field, especially as he starts to get a little bit older here? Um, so those are the four options on Twitter as far as what um, what we think about Yankee trade here. So go on and give us a vote right now. Just put the poll up. There's only two votes, and they're both what about the starting pitching. So very interesting to see what you're going to say about that. Now, here's my, and I want to be positive about the Yankees. And, there's a lot of fans jumping around today. We already won the World Series, and, thinking that finally they're making the moves that, uh, you know, George Sr. would have made back in the 70s and 80s. But still, I don't see this team being complete. And of course, there could be more moves, there could be a lot of other moves. But the biggest fault for the Yankees for years now, since that '09 team, has been their inability to get on base and deliver clutch hits in tight windows, in high pressure situations. Um, and so what we look at is the OPS, on base and slugging combined, to kind of track where players are at. It's an interesting stat, I think. So if you're a great, great player, Hall of Fame track, All Star, your OPS should be 825 or higher. If you're a very good Major League Baseball player, maybe just a notch below the All Star level, it's 800 to 875. An average MLB player should be 725 to 800, and anything below 725 should really be considered. Uh, you know, Changing up that player, that position. So I looked up all the OPSs for the potential starting lineup offensively. So LeMahieu is going to probably lead off and play third base. Another player who's going to be playing a tough physical position that's been hurt a lot lately, on the back end of his career for sure. His career OPS is 769. When the last few seasons, that's really um, bringing the average down. So 769 for him. And then they're going to hit Soto second and Judge third. These are your all star, all time greats. Soto's career OPS is 946, Judge is 982. Uh, Soto walks a lot, sees a lot of pitches, which is great uh, in this day and age with so many pitching changes and starting pitchers only going 5 innings. Um, you want everybody to see as many pitches as possible to get a grip on what's going on. And Judge is just out of this world. And then Rizzo is going to hit fourth, it looks like, or I'm guessing. A healthy Rizzo is awesome. We love him. His career OPS is 838, which puts him in the very good major league ball player. Uh, and you would say, he's better than that in the years past. And when you look at it, though, this is a sneaky number because since 2019, he had a 924 OPS. Peak Rizzo, right? Cranking home runs out of Chicago and just playing a stellar first base. Um, but he's been below 800 on the OPS every season since then. And last year he was at 706, which is a below average player. And again, we know injuries are a part of it, but now Rizzo is on that back end of his career, probably the last few years. Yes, a great swing for Yankee Stadium, fan favorite. No issues there. Outstanding defensively, but sneakily not the hitter that he used to be. Then Stanton, his career OPS is 878, same thing. After he came to New York, it kind of went down a little, and it's not been great. They're stuck with Stanton. There's no reason to talk about him when he gets on his hot streaks. He's awesome. He certainly can hit the ball a long way. Uh, and health, as Brian Cashman himself called him out in this offseason, is always an issue with him. So we move now to Glaber Torres. Will hit sixth. Um, yeah, Glaber's going to hit sixth. His career OPS is 789. That's been on an uptick. He had a nice year last year, so he's above average, or he's at the top end of the average scale, and could be on the very good brink of an all-star type player, as he continues to move away from that upward trajectory with a swing and flatten it back out and hit the gaps in left and right center as he did when he first came up. So that one's on the increase, just to be fair. Verdugo, 765 for a career OPS. Not what I thought it was going to be. I thought it would be above 800. So that puts him as an average outfielder. Um, I can't say I saw him play a lot in left field, but I do remember, him being a liability for the Red Sox. Now they're a different bunch, of course, in left field in Boston playing the Green Monster, but certainly has speed, um, and should be able to play some decent defense. And I don't think his arm is very good either. So he doesn't get on base, doesn't slug as much as you think in your mind's eye, or as people will tell you, with 765. And then next would be the catching position, um, with Wells, um, being the starter, Austin Wells, and for some reason the Yankees are in love with this Ben Rotvert. He's been on the roster a couple of years, hasn't played any kind of meaningful time with us. Um, Wells OPS was 742 last year. Small sample size. It came up late. All of that, certainly room to grow. Um, I'm concerned with, uh, we know Cole especially has to be in sync with his catcher, and he will not be quiet about needing to make a change or having a personal catcher or whatever. So I'm hoping that he and Austin Wells can really come together that way. But I wouldn't expect a ton of hitting out of the catching position. And then Anthony Volpe will round out the lineup. His OPS last season was 666. So below average OPS. Yeah, he was an exciting player as far as speed and stealing bases, and he seemed a little bit streaky, but that's a young kid for you. Certainly a ton of room to grow. So I'm saying all this to say, you've got 2.5, because I have to include Stanton in the great, or Rizzo, excuse me, in the great category for OPSs. So Soto, Judge, and Rizzo. Um, you have one good in Stanton, and you have four average and one poor. So you got five of the nine hitters that are still uh, not going to get on base regularly, not going to uh, get those clutch hits and leave people on. So while this lineup is drastically improved, and I'm not sitting here advocating that we shouldn't have gotten Soto, I don't understand the Verdugo move, quite honestly, um, unless there's more to come with him, and more moves in the future. But you know, I said this is Christmas Day early. We're unwrapping our presents as the winter meetings conclude here for Major League Baseball, and there's always a lot of movement during these winter meetings and right after. Um, Kind of, I guess, closes the door on Cody Bellinger, another big bat free agent that would have been interesting to bring him in to play first base. Maybe I understand the loyalty to Rizzo. Um, Again, trapped with the DH position and Stanton. So no flexibility there. Um, Bellinger plays center field as well. Could have moved Stanton to left, and Soto and right, and Bellinger in center. So uh, again, excited that they're doing stuff. If you can't tell, woo, ho ho ho, and all of that. Glad that they're making moves, and Steinbrenner as a family feels the pressure from the fans. Cashman feels the pressure from Steinbrenner and his contract coming to an end, and his um, hatred, that the coming through from a fan perspective. And then, Aaron Boone is just stuck being the sacrificial good guy. He's the one that's got to go out and talk to the media. He'll get his attention by having tantrums and getting thrown out. I'm sure he'll make some bad moves. A whole new uh, bench coach, pitching coach, hitting coach situation coming into this season. So that'll be interesting to see how that's all managed. But right here, as we end 2023 for the New York Yankees, making moves, checking their list, checking it twice. I'm going to find an all star who's either naughty or nice. Um, we appreciate you checking in here with us at Think Tank Sports. Follow us. Today is Thursday, the 7th. Tomorrow, I will come on and talk about the NCAA football a little bit, probably, but definitely talk about the NBA Cup. And we're down to the final four teams, and that will be decided this weekend. So excited to see that come to a close and uh, throw the flowers at the NBA. But in the meantime, get on Twitter and tell us what you think. We're also on Facebook and the Insta. If you need to get a hold of us that way, DM us, comment on this video. We'd love to hear from you here at Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen as we strive for five. Good evening, everybody.